Truth is a hard pill to swallow. America needs an overdose. Become truth's junkie. Use sorrow's tears to wash it down. Wolves in sheep's clothing unfolding lies. Truth! Set us free. Digging through the lies, finding you beneath the filth of hate and deceit. Truth! Bring us to our knees. Bent over in repentance, repeating the past, retreating. Don't ask, don't tell me no lies. Pop these pills of the truth is a hard pill to swallow. Coughing up these lies, choking my cognitive, distancing me from things unseen, confusing the very fibers of my being, my membranes, remembering, distorting my brain cells, brain dead to lies, brainwashed in truth, baptized in a new baptism. Is all forgiven? Repentance, recompense, making lies make sense, nonsense. Take this pill, pillow soften the blows of confusion, pillow talking life and death, eating the fruit of the seed you.
Bam!
Everybody.
Yes.
And thank you for joining Change the Channel. I am Lisa L. Yeomans, your host and the creator of Change the Channel. And it's really all about changing our perspective, changing our mindsets about how we see us, how they see us, how we want to see us, and how we want to show up in the world. And tonight I have my special guest, finally, A.D. Walker of the Brothers of Legacy. He's
Yes,
going to
indeed.
be speaking to us tonight about how he's changing and making an impact in his community. And also, look, the world at large. Hey, this can go global. How about that?
Indeed.
So, AD, welcome to Change the Channel, my very first guest.
Yes, indeed. I feel honored. I appreciate you allowing me to be on your platform. I'm ecstatic to be the first. I'm the first. So no one could take that away from me. But thank you again, Lisa, for allowing me to be on here. I'm excited for what's to come. Definitely.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. And before we get started, I just want to let the viewers know to share the broadcast, tag someone, comment, interact with us. Let us know how you feel about what it is that we're speaking about. Let us know if there is anything you want us to speak about. And just tag to all my replay viewers. Thank you for watching the replay. To all my podcast listeners, thank you for listening in on this great conversation. So like I was saying, AD is the founder of the Brothers of Legacy. Now, I really kind of know the history of the Brothers of Legacy because I've been there from the beginning.
Yes.
However, there's always a backstory.
Always.
So I want you to basically, tell us what the Brothers of Legacy all about. I know you always say we don't stand out, we stand. We don't stand up, we stand out.
No, we don't stand out, we stand up.
We don't stand out, we stand up. Okay.
Yes,
So tell us about what it is that you saw or did not see, the light thereof, that prompted you or pushed you to say, hey, I need to start this organization. I want to feel this that's not here already in society.
Okay, so some time ago, I've been doing live stream for quite some time, and I was really pushing. I left my job to really start my push into like coaching and following my passion and things of that nature. And I was looking to help grow our community more. And I found there were a lot of smaller content creators, and there was lack of men in the social media space. So that was one reason that just bringing other brothers together, collectively, instead of trying to be so separate. And two, one of the main things that pushed me to start Brothers of Legacy was one time I was in my children's elementary school at the time, and was at a PTA meeting or something of that nature, and I noticed a lack of male presence at the event. Now, keep in mind, like, I realized I had not been to a lot of these events as well. So there was like a huge gap of men in our community being visible, just on the basis. We're at work. We're at work. You find us business, you find us where there's money, we're at it. But when it came to community service, being there was a huge lack. So with Brothers Legacy, my goal was to get more men involved in community, have those discussions that are uncomfortable, but men can begin to open up and begin to share with other young men so that we can begin to push who we are forward. Because, a lot of times we've held on to a lot of the things that happened to us, and we don't discuss, some of the emotional fight that we have with certain situations. So there was a lack of male community, there was a lack of men sharing emotionally. And so we were just kind of repeating things, cycling the same situations and issues. And I was wanting to be that chain breaker, that cycle breaker, even if Brothers of Legacy wasn't the one, at least it will spark some other men to push something forward. So that was my goal. That's what started Brothers of Legacy.
Okay, because I know when I started watching, um, it wasn't the Brothers of Legacy at the time. It
Right.
was before.
It was Brothers United.
Brothers United, yes.
Yeah.
So when I started watching, I continued to watch. It was great content. And also, like you were saying, like the male presence, there was a lack of male presence. So I continued to watch because it was just refreshing to
Amen.
see brothers come
Yeah.
together and talk about issues in the community, in society, amongst themselves, and just have the conversation. So it was good to see that, because
Definitely.
on social media now, I seek and find what it is that I need in
Right.
my life. However, you do have other things going on out there that's not so much that leans to the side of positivity.
Right.
So that was refreshing for me. So that's why I continue to watch, because it's great content, and you see men talking about things that's going on today, and how we can deal and navigate and get past those things.
Yeah.
So something you were saying about the lack of male presence in
Yeah.
our community and different things like that. So I kind of want you to talk about that,
Yeah.
the importance of having that. Because
Yeah.
me personally, I come from the mindset of the men are the leaders.
Amen.
However, we do know that women have been put in those positions,
Right.
but because, like
Long
you
time.
said, there's that lack of male presence.
Right.
And for you, when the presence is there, how does that change a community or a society?
I feel, to me, when the male presence is more prominent, I feel like there's more control, there's more security, there's more oversight. And as a side note, not to say that women can't, but men are more designed, or I don't want to say design, because it's like I can't do it. And that's not that you can't, but men are more focused on making that happen. It shouldn't be on the woman to provide the security, the covering, and things of that nature. It's all about, men being the leaders, because honestly, I hold our feet to the fire to where we stand in our communities, in our society, and even in our households. I know, like, we have to work or we have to provide, but we're still responsible for our abodes. We're still responsible for our homes and the things that happen. Some of the issue, and this is gonna be a little controversial, but some of the issue, um, sometimes men are too focused on trying to make money and not cover their households and
Mm.
not cover their community. I get that it can get, you got to make money. I get it, but sometimes, we're at work, home, sleep, go back to work, home, sleep, try to get the promotion, more work, home, sleep, and we're losing out in our neighborhoods. Right, there you go. That's my
Yeah,
wonderful
absolutely.
wife.
Thank you, Samantha, for joining.
Yes, indeed. So, it definitely, like she said, it does decrease the weight of a woman, has to carry, lessens her stress. Yeah, and honestly, as a man, we should be the ones carrying. If we get
Hmm.
biblical, they are the helpmeet. So they should just be assisting and helping. Like, hey, I can't hold this. Like, they should be helping. We should be carrying the loads. And a lot of times it's kind of been reversed, where we come in and we take what they can't handle. You understand what I'm saying? It should be the other way, where we're handling it all and we're dishing out what we can't hold. Like, hey, I need some help in this area. I need some help in this area. And is for whatever reason, there's of course there's all the conspiracies about it. It's shifted. It's shifted. So yeah, as a male presence is definitely needed. And I believe our communities will be much better. I 100% believe crime would come down further if men really stood up in their communities, like really stood up and taking care of and covering women and children. You know, even whoever's in their presence. It's not just about their household. It's
Mhm.
about their community. When I step outside this door, you know, if I see a child, if I see a woman, if I see a situation, I cover. I don't just, we talked about this, me and my wife earlier, pull out my phone trying to film an incident. I try to intervene. I try to make sure it doesn't escalate or anything of that nature. So that's definitely, I feel like that's the number one thing with men when men are present in the community.
And I totally agree. I'm with that. You know, men leading. I know people have they wait the thing about that submission type.
Right,
You know, people have a feel a certain type of way about that, but I
right,
just believe in myself personally the order of God.
right,
And when you were speaking too, and you mentioned the youth, I think that's very important for our youth to see men in our community stand up, and
right,
not just men that are there
right,
around, you know,
right,
because I can go anywhere.
right,
And sometimes you can see the same person that was sitting under that tree 20 years ago.
right, right.
He's still
Yeah,
sitting there talking about the same thing.
right.
And so we have to be careful in that. But I think that's powerful. I totally agree. When
Definitely.
the man with the when the male presence is there, that
Yes.
things do change. And I believe that things can change for the better when that is there. And
Right.
while we're talking about that, when people are talking about doing the work on building community,
Mhm.
and we spoke earlier about the lack of men presence, and that's why you can created this your platform, Brothers of Legacy. When you look at people that are doing the work, like people in activism, community building, and different things like that, now I haven't counted the numbers, but do you see, does it appear that there are more women doing this or men, or do you think it's like a equal playing field?
So as far as the activism part,
Mhm. Like activism or community building
yeah,
or
like, well,
helping
I
our
mean,
youth. Hmm.
I I guess for me, unfortunately, my best view of it is through a social media lens. It seems like women are leading in that area. There are some male players in it. Um, and just a quick side note of one of the other reasons of starting the Brother Legacy platform, especially online. I used to watch a lot of and they were mostly male dominated forums with Tavis Smiley and the rest of
Hmm.
the regular crew of Dr. Cornell West, those folks, and they were always, and this was like the like mid to late '90s, and they will always talk about problems but never discuss solutions. And that used to irritate me. It just,
Hmm.
you watch a whole hour of a program waiting for an answer. At least give me some actionable step other than voting. Like it's thrown in there, but it's like other than that, what else can I do? So with Brothers of Legacy was one of the reasons of finding some actionable step. If you watch the show, make sure you watch it. You get some kind of actionable stuff we talk about. This is some of the stuff we're doing or trying to attack even today with the scheduling.
Yeah.
But with the as far as I do see, it's like I said, from a social media lens, I see more women leading than men. They're out there and some are doing the work. Some just may not get noticed. Some aren't social media people. I've noticed men don't really get on social media like that unless they have some purpose or some drive, to do so. So I will say, social media wise, I do see more women leading in that space. And so I can't really say that we're not. I just don't
Yeah.
see it as much.
Okay, yeah. So well, like I said, I didn't count any numbers or anything like that.
Right.
But
Right.
so I'm gonna jump into a question here.
Okay.
With everything that's going on now, and sometimes I think about how maybe our ancestors at some point was like, I don't want my child growing up like
Right.
this. I don't want my child to experience this. And then like our grandparents probably said the same thing, or our great grandparents. They wanted something different for their children. However,
Right.
we are still here. you know,
Right.
and
Right.
dealing with things that are going on in society, dealing with racism,
Right.
injustice, different things like that. You know, we
Right.
don't have to go into detail. We all know
Right.
what it is. And so when you think about your child, your children, especially your son, I'm saying your son because he's
Yeah.
a male just like
Right.
you. So,
Yes.
but you're also your daughter, but especially your son. When your son gets your age, and I'm not sure what your age is, I'm 48,
Okay. I'm
and
45.
I'm like
I thought out there.
45. Okay, so when your son gets your age,
Yes.
what do you what do you believe the world will be like, or what is your desire for the world to be like for your children when they get to our age and that
Yeah.
they're not still having this same conversation that
Right.
we're having right now? So, what do you see that, or how do you want it to be?
I have, I mean, my view when it comes to like, I guess the racism, I mean, I I feel it can be decreased, never really eradicated, because racism is a belief. You know, racism is an idea that will constantly be fostered, you know, unless, yeah, because I mean, you know, whenever there's a struggle, it's always a blame on a particular race. So
Hmm.
there would be those that will always blame black people for whatever. So I
Hmm.
don't believe it'll go away. My hope is that at least systematically, you know, that struggle won't be there. You know, like they can go get a job without it. Right? She said this, or CC robots, lots of robots. So yeah, it's I believe that they can at least get a job or have opportunities, not their doors not closed because of their race, you know, or even my daughter because of her sex. But it my prayer is at least the systematic part of it will finally be taken care of. Maybe, you know, there's always, if a decision's in someone's hands to make, you still got the biases that someone holds, you know,
Yeah.
and honestly, that goes with anybody. Like, think about if you ever done sales, when you see somebody come through the door, you try to pin, are they going to buy or are they not going to buy?
Hmm.
And you get these ideas in your head. And I've been wrong a lot. Like, oh, they did more than I expected, because
Yeah.
you judge on what you see. And unfortunately, racism is part of that bias that, you know, won't, I don't, it's never going to go away. I think it's ingrained. It's happened in the word. It's going to happen now. Um, but my prayer is just that it won't be so systematic. I don't believe it's as systematic. You know, so many, probably a lot of people may disagree, but I don't believe it's as systematic. Yes, in law enforcement and justice system may have still have those issues.
Hmm.
But I believe we're getting past. Hopefully, I feel like the systematic thing is kind of dwindling. It's not as overbearing. Like, you know, as a black person, you can still get a loan without the racial component. You know, because they got laws. Plus, you know, you can do stuff online. So by the time they approve you, you going to the bank, they can't say anything. You know,
Yeah.
you know, there are. I won't say what is it called? Redlining. Redlining is not
Hmm.
gone. It's just not as bad. I'm gonna say that redlining is not gone. It's just probably not as bad because even, you know, New York has been kind of segregated in certain ways for decades, but you know
Hmm.
the South is kind of better, which is crazy to say, but it's truth. But I think it is getting better. And my prayer is that for my son it'll even be better than it has been. You know, that's, you know, that opportunities would just be there. So as long as you have the skill, the integrity, you should be able to get opportunities, and your race wouldn't have a play into that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I want to say something to that too because I know I worked at this job probably like in 1997.
Okay.
I was the only black person in this particular well, not at the job, but in this particular department.
Apartment. Okay.
I didn't realize that. Well, I knew walking in the door, but you really don't see it until you sitting at the table.
Right.
And it's like,
Right.
oh, okay. Hey,
Right. Right.
this is true.
Right.
But my point is when we talk about moving forward,
Right.
because like 20 years later,
Yeah.
I was speaking to one of my nieces who worked in an organization. I worked in finance, and I think she was probably in the finance.
Okay.
arena too. And she was talking just in conversation, she was saying how happy she was to see Black people in
Right.
that organization, like you
Okay.
walking past. And I was like, this happened to me 20 years ago.
Right.
So, but I assumed
Right.
that things had changed,
Mm. Okay.
until I spoke with my niece, and I'm looking at her like, hey, that happened when I like, did anything really change?
Right.
You
Right.
see Black people, hey, it's a family reunion. You you don't have to know them.
Right.
But so for me, if that was one thing I want to change, just things like that
Right.
changing.
Yeah.
And it could be really simple
Right.
for those things to change, because when I think about it, I'm like, I wasn't the only person in my college class taking accounting
Right.
or getting this degree, because people try to use, well, not many people of color or African Americans
I've
are
heard
taking
that.
these. Yes,
I've
they
heard that.
are.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, they are. They're just not being hired. So for me, looking at the situation with my niece, that
Right.
would be something like 20 years from now. I wouldn't want my niece's daughter in this same situation.
But I will say, so like I said, I hope things will change. But honestly, what I'm teaching my kids and everybody connected with Brothers of Legacy, to me, like, I don't believe in sweating the system. So
Hmm.
I would rather you just go out, build your own, or get with someone else and create something, as opposed to like, like I'm not the let's sit at the lunch counter and get knocked in the head.
Yeah,
Like, and I get it. They were making a point. They're just like,
yeah,
but we need I don't believe in doing that. Like, if we go into a space and we get blatantly treated a certain way because we're Black, hey, let's never come back here. Like,
yeah,
hey, don't ever go to this space. Like, we ain't got a boycott, don't ever go here. Like,
yeah,
let's pull all our dollars away from there. Like, that's exactly how I feel. Like, if a company is not wanting us there, or they getting us in for a status quo, or they just want the best of us, and nobody else,
yeah.
for whatever reason, I believe we just need to form our own, or be a part of those that want us apart. That's my mantra. Be a part of those that want us to be apart. Because let's stop kicking down this door. I'm not moving into a neighborhood where I'm not wanted. Like, I'm not putting my family's safety at risk. I'm just good with somebody and form our own neighborhood or something. Like, I don't think we should, I don't know. And maybe this is bad. We should stop doing that. Like, you don't accept abuse. Like, you call the cops, whatever laws they're breaking because they're treating me this way. I'm calling the cops and filing reports, getting with the Better Business Bureau. But I'm not gonna keep going there so you can change. And then now I'm giving you money, because you win in the sense, like, yeah,
Exactly.
your racism has been kicked, but now you're getting my money.
Yeah,
So I believe in this space right here, this space, we need to move forward. We need to just stop fooling with folks. You're
yeah,
gonna be that way, fine. Let's
and
move forward.
I totally agree. And that was one of my questions about your thoughts on that, but you gave
Yeah,
me your thoughts, because I agree. Like, build your own,
yeah,
and you won't have to beg someone else
right,
for
right,
theirs, for what they're not going to give you.
right.
So let's see what's going on here. Samantha, I may never
Well,
deliberately
I'm
move
with you on that.
forward.
Yeah, I'm there, and you're
Yeah,
not even being
absolutely.
run out. Right.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're going to get more into that, about building your own. But before we get into that,
Ooh,
I just want you to think a little bit more about that, because I have a question, a
okay.
hot topic question here for you.
Okay.
But we're
Okay.
going to take a little bit of break, and we're going to come right back.
Oh, snap a brick.
Get your copy of America the Beautiful, Poetic Injustice and Inequality in Black and White. America the Beautiful is a collection of poetry that highlights and takes on racism, injustice, and inequality in America head on. 90% of the proceeds will be funneled back into the community in various ways, to include assisting community organizations actively working to build up the state of their communities, educating and building our youth, and also disrupting mass incarceration. To order your copies of America the Beautiful, visit changegonecome.today.
All right.
are back with
That's
AD
good.
Walker of the Brothers of Legacy. Thank you. And look, we're talking about building. So it's
Yes.
going back into the community. And just in case somebody want to know where the other 10% going, tithes. You know, I'm paying paying tithes and giving 90%. So when I wrote that book, hey, that was the whole plan of it. After I had written it, that was where all the money would go back into building our community, which goes just in alignment with what we're talking about. But
Awesome.
we did have a question. So you don't want integration?
So I will say, if we can go back in time before they integrated schools, because honestly, I got an opportunity. Well, not like some special opportunity. I just heard some podcasts about people that were in the fight. You know, back then they were like they wanted. They weren't into integration. They didn't like segregation, but they rather just give the money that you're giving to the white schools, give it to the black schools. Because what happened, they started busing all the black kids with the white kids, and they end up shutting down the schools that were in their neighborhoods. So that didn't really help. They should have just given the same money they were giving to the white kids to the black kids. So back then, yes, I was totally against integration. They just keep us separate and make sure you take care of us like you're taking care of them. But now we're such an integrated society. Even the town I live in is kind of like it's mixed. it's kind of like half. I'll say half black, half white, but you know, there's ratios of percentages, but it's mixed. So I believe integration works. We just, if as a company, a big conglomerate, that if they agree, you know, if they don't have any racial angst, I'm cool with them. If they do, then we just leave them alone. So if you're white and you're cool, let's work together. If you don't want to fool with me, we're not gonna fool with each other. You know, like I'm through with the kicking down the doors. Now, as far as political, they need to get over it. You know, like you can't, you know, if they're in office with that mindset, they need to be voted out. You know, that's the only, like I said, the systematic stuff needs to go away. You
Yeah.
get them out the system in a sense. And I know people run the system, so they need to find the checks and balances, make sure those beliefs or those racial beliefs aren't messing up, you know, the system in a sense where, or it's making it uneven. So in that sense, yes, racism needs to go, but integration is fine now because it's kind of the society we live in. You know, I won't say we can't separate, but I think the way even whites have grown up black, you know, so we're kind of tied together now. We're kind of tied together. So yeah, definitely integration. But when, even for me, when I say create your own, it can be black. You can even get with white counterparts, but just nowhere where I gotta kick and scream just to get equal pay. Nowhere I gotta kick and scream just to get equal part. Nowhere I gotta kick and scream just to buy something. You know, so that's where I draw the line. Like, I'm not dealing with anyone that doesn't want to deal with me.
Absolutely. It's like the child playing, he brought his toys over to the neighbor's house, and then the neighbor make him mad and he take all his toys.
Right. Right. I'm taking my toys.
Your own toys. You wouldn't be crying when he left with his toys, you know. So that's kind of like what it is. If I have my own, whatever you take away from me is not going to take anything from me, because I have this over here that I built. And back to the point of integration, for me, these are just my thoughts. Haven't talked to anyone. I kind of believe, or I want to believe, that it was more about equality, rather than trying to be like someone else or be a part of what you were. And maybe the thought was, if we can just eat at this restaurant and you know, we'll be equal. However, we learned that wasn't so. You know, but I can kind of see the point of where that was going, because you wanted equality just like anybody else. You know, this is what the Constitution said. But this is not what's being given. So I get that from that integration part of it. And like you said, it'll be hard now to do that. You know, now to do it. Now I do believe it still exists in some parts of
it does. I'm
America.
sure.
You know, it exists in some parts of America, but we're going to move right along. But we was talking about building.
Yes.
So I have a question for you. So you're tasked with building the African American community, and you
Okay.
must create a team to get it done.
Ooh.
Who's on your team? Now, I don't want you to talk about people.
Right.
Like, of course, you're going to have Pastor McCory on your team.
Right.
Why wouldn't you? But I don't want you to talk about people so much as the mindset
Okay.
of the group of people that need to come together in order to build our communities. So who are you going after? You know, what type of thinkers or thought
What kind of people?
processes?
Oh, okay. Um, I would want somebody that's very um enthusiastic, um, very excitable, like that's ready to go. I need that person that's just ready to go. I need a thinker. I need someone that's analytical. Because I need, I need my ready to go person that's ready to run, but I need my analytical thinker. Like, hold on, let's focus on the direction that we're going in.
Yeah.
I need my doubter. Yep, I need a doubter because I need someone that's like, I don't think this is gonna work, and to tell me why they don't think it's gonna work, and
Okay.
we push past it. We'll work past it. We may not ever get to a agree to disagreement with them, but it'll be agree to disagree. It's like, all right, then. Like you kind of like the pessimist, kind of like, I don't know. Oh, I need someone that's very good with numbers. I guess that'd be part of the thinker, but just very, very good with numbers. That'd be the analytical. And I need somebody who's creative, who has just they're flowing with ideas. Like, and I know like sometimes ideas are great, implementation is better, but you need someone that just can bust you in the head with some out of the box ideas. Like even to say, what if we did such and such? And you're thinking we need all of this to do that to get to that. He's just like, but what if we did that? Like I need a creative, someone that's very creative, out of the box thinker. Like I said, and the other parts will flow together to get to that creative thought. Because that a lot of times people get stuck because they have the analytical, they have the numbers person, they have the go getter. You have the pessimist that sits in the boardroom that tries to shut everything down, but you never have that person that's creative that just will give you that crazy idea that might just get you to where you need to go. Because honestly, we're in the space now. We need that crazy idea, that's going to get us to that next space to help us become a better community. And I think that's the piece we're lacking. We need that creative, that crazy creative to help us get to that next space.
That's good. That's good. So while you got all your people together,
Yes.
so what is it that you're going to do to change? What is it? What one thing that you would change, or what's the first thing you would start working on to make the change within the community that's going to move the community forward so we can build our own?
All right. So glad you asked. So I would start a media campaign to change the mindset of how people view Black folks. Now, P&G has started a great campaign. It's above the or change the narrative above. It's called something, but they started. And when I seen it, I was like, this is exactly what we need. Little ads just showing Black people doing things that are nice, doing things that are non-criminal, doing helpful things, and not only for those that are not Black, those that are Black, because we need more positive images, just like constant reinforcement. You scrolling through your Facebook feed and you're seeing constant ads of Black folks doing something nice. It's just subtle. It's almost, and I know this word has probably been used bad, but it has to be a propaganda on Black greatness, Black niceness, not just us doing some inventions. We used to that. We seen that. Yeah, I know. Invented the stoplight, invented this, invented the folding chair. Yeah. But you're criminals still. It just showing us being family, showing men being family guys, showing a lot of males doing the right thing, leading their families, women doing great things, in great spaces, showing them laugh, because There's the angry black woman narrative, the angry black man narrative, getting rid of that stuff. Even highlighting the men that have dreads, doing great things, and women in the natural hair, like all the stuff that we know to be true, just more of an outlet on a media, on a social media, TV, movies standpoint. That would be my number one goal, is to change the narrative of how people view black people. And then not just here in the US, but globally.
Globally, yeah.
Right. And just constant campaign, constant campaign, constant campaign. And all I need is a good slogan, this is what black people really are,
Mhm.
So by the time Timmy, who's 5, he'll have this same thought in his mind. He'll constantly seeing this. What you mean black people do such and such? All I've ever seen is black
Yeah,
people be nice. All I've ever seen was families of black people. Like all I've ever seen was TV, them giving money. Like it just has to be just like we got brainwashed to see us be criminals in the 90s.
absolutely.
Same thing. And we were scared of our own people.
Yeah.
So we just gotta flip the script. So like I said, so by the time my kids are my son is 45, his peers have seen black people do more positive things in their face than they've ever have. And I feel like that will at least tamper down the racism.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, because we know, um, especially older people, they're
Right.
like set in their ways, whatever. But like you were saying, the younger people coming up will see that.
Right.
So if this is all I see, this is what I know to be true.
Right.
So when you're telling me something like back in my day, it was
Right.
like this, and this like your mind can't even conceive that this is true, because of this is what I see now because of all the things you said. So is
Right.
that something that I know that you're building your team and your
Yes.
blueprint here. So is that something that now in reality that you're planning on doing,
Yes.
or you're giving some
Yeah.
thought to that?
So
Okay.
so Brothers of Legacy is in this direction.
Hmm.
It's more the real life, the touching of everybody. My goal is to begin to build a team here, starting in Georgia and moving across the nation. If you go to brotherlegacy.com now, you can just sign up to be one of our partners as we begin to implement those things. So my goal is to just get more men together to begin to be more of a force in our community. Now we are building the framework of it, so I'm always happy to get any suggestions on how to implement, how to proceed, to be the most effective. So I'm not like a closed box. I'm open to listen and how to grow. The show is just a starting point and catapulting into the next space. So I definitely want as many people that are watching, that's watching the replay, that's on the podcast, that you're listening, go to www.brothersoflegacy.com and be a part of that. And you can also join our text community. Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576, and you will always know when we're doing in the community, because we have Brothers of Legacy, we have Sisters of Legacy, and we have Purpose for Forever. Sister Legacy, of course, the ladies, and Purpose for Forever, me and my wife. So we're trying to bring all these conglomerates together to help move our community forward. Because Brothers Legacy has probably been the longest, so this is the biggest that we've been pushing, but it includes everybody. So any ladies out there that feel like I want to be a part, you can check with Sisters of Legacy. I should have the URL should be working, so go sisterslegacy.com as well. But yeah, definitely and text, just the easiest is to text LWN to 84576, and you'll always know what we're doing, and that's the Legacy Walker Network. So the Brothers of Legacy is just the first part of this first leg of this race. So yeah, this is a big, I'm the idea dude.
Okay.
I'm trying to be the out of the box man to get us to that next space. And trust me, if you're another out of the box person, please holler, because I'm sure we can chat for hours about doing some things.
Yeah, and I like that. I'm like when you said the creative, I'm like that person.
Right.
But sometimes it gets me in trouble. That's why I was like rushing to get on because I was trying to be too creative.
Right.
Sometimes I have to
I've
tell
been
myself,
there.
you're
I've
just
been there.
doing the
You look at
most.
them
You're
like, oh my
doing the
God.
most. Do what you're doing, finish. But I do like that, and I like the fact that you have the three things, the three different networks: Brothers of Legacy, Purpose for Forever, and Sisters of Legacy, and it's in media.
Yeah.
So you're changing what people
Right.
are seeing and what people are hearing because there's a lot of negativity out there
Right.
concerning me, and especially the Purpose for Forever.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about marriages.
Yeah.
And you're talking about and hashtag Black love.
Right.
You know, there's something that comes after we hashtag Black love.
Right.
You know, there's some work that needs to be done. There's some, stories that need to be told, advice that has to be given. So
Right.
I'm tuning in. I did miss Monday, but I'm on there.
You're good. I appreciate it.
Because that's the direction that I'm heading in at some point.
I hear that.
So I'm just preparing, but I do, and I love watching Sisters of Legacy.
Awesome.
Because just the conversations and like you were saying, the narrative has to be changed. So when we change our conversations and when we put our ears to different conversations, the narrative changes.
Right.
The narrative changes that women can work together.
Right.
When you see a platform like Sisters of Legacy,
Definitely.
the narrative changes that marriages do work out.
Right.
Regardless of what we've been through, when you see Purpose for Forever.
No.
Thank you. I love it. I love it. And I can't get that. I don't think anybody gonna ever get that Purpose for Forever song out their head.
That's awesome.
Hey,
I love it.
We are here for it. We are here for it. So we're coming to a close here, but what I wanted to ask you also was, what change will your children be living in that you created?
Ooh.
And if I know you're creating change, right? But if there's something else that's going to be, look, both of us, AD, something is like,
I'm trying to ignore the fly. I'm trying, but
when you do it, whatever's flying around in my house comes, But let's focus.
Focus.
So, what change are you creating, or do you want to create that your children can live in?
Right. So, what I'm creating for my children is a village. I'm creating a village for my children to be able to not feel like they're alone. A support system that, like I said, includes the Brothers of Legacy, Sisters of Legacy, and other couples, just so they never feel like they have to do this journey alone. And a lot of another reason, with Brothers of Legacy and some of what Purpose for Forever started was just connecting with other couples. A lot of times we do this thing, we're so isolated. And as well as I do, if you have nobody holding your feet to the fire, you lose your drive. You just stop stuff. Like you start and stop, you start and stop. But if you got somebody that's with you in this journey, whatever goals that you have or God has given you, you stick with it when someone's holding you to it. Like, hey, what you doing today? You're not on. You're not doing your thing. You're not doing what you said you're gonna do. And you're like, because you're gonna have the days where you just gotta trudge through it. Just to get to the next day. So my goal for them is just to leave them a community that they never have to feel like they have to do this thing alone. That is like my ultimate goal with all of these organizations, just especially Brothers of Legacy. So my son and my daughter don't feel like they're never covered. There's never a male to help them, to guide or give them wisdom. So I can leave a legacy of knowledge, of wisdom. Of course, everybody wants to leave a truckload of cash for their family. They want to leave them land. But my thing is, if you don't know how to manage your life, you won't know what to do with the possessions that I leave. So that I want to leave a legacy of knowledge, of wisdom. Yeah, legacy of love. Definitely want to leave something that they can hold on to that's not fleeting, not material, but something they can hold in their heart, in their mind, and be able to build on it. And like I said, have a community that surrounds and can guide them. Because most people get lost because either they have no guidance or they throw away their guidance. Like
Mhm.
they chuck it like, y'all don't know nothing. So I want
Yeah.
to make sure that they're following some levels of guidance, and that will help them become successful. Because even if I leave them $10,000, they'll at least know what to do with it.
Yeah.
How to flourish with it. So that is my goal. I'd rather leave them more knowledge, wisdom, and a community than money. You know,
That's awesome. And back to the when you were saying the media campaign to change people's perspective about Black people.
right?
And I think with the community in the village and leaving your children that, and
Yes,
how you say some people like just push other people aside, say, hey, but I think even with that campaign,
right,
not only will other people see us differently, but we would start seeing ourselves differently
right,
because there's so many negative things out there about us
right.
that we brought into the lie
We
that
have,
this is what it is.
we have,
Like
we have.
every man leaving his family, every
Right,
man cheating on his wife.
right, right,
The mama, she doing something crazy. We don't know what it is, but she a
right,
little suspect.
right.
The children are, so I think with that happening, the media campaign, that it will change even
Sure.
the perspectives in our own communities
Yeah,
about ourselves.
yeah,
Because I've heard some things,
yeah,
especially when it comes to business,
yeah.
that our business is not good
Right,
because of what people have heard. But
right,
here's the thing: we do business with people that ain't good, and we know they stealing from us,
right,
and we still
right,
do business.
right.
But because of the narrative that have been pushed
Yeah,
concerning those people,
right,
you just believe that they're good even when they're wrong.
right,
So I
right,
think that media
right.
campaign will really help
Game
change
changer.
even our perspective on some things about us, about
Definitely,
ourselves, that we can be a community again. We
definitely.
can, because I know one day on you all show you were saying how, and this how it was when I grew up. If somebody down the street saw you mess up,
Right.
they can
Oh,
handle
yeah.
their business, and then your mom was going to get you too. But now
Yeah.
it's a whole different
Right.
story. Like you have to, it's like touch and go. Should I, it's like
Yeah.
double dutch. Should I jump
Right.
in this situation?
Right.
What I'm gonna do?
Right.
I might jump and trip over the rope. What am I going to do?
Right.
And so I just think that's a great thing. So with everything you talked about, and we're gonna close, and then I'm gonna let people know how to get in contact
Oh, yeah.
with you. So you told us about the problem that you saw, which I think is a great thing. I love the Brothers of Legacy platform. Your solution. You talked about how people can get involved, but I want you to talk about that a little bit more. But I
Okay.
want you to let us know how you are being held accountable with
Right.
everything that you're doing and everything that you're saying that you desire to do.
Right.
Because you run across people and they just talking, what they call them talking heads, they just
Right.
talk.
Talk.
But
Right.
you're not doing anything, and then nobody can check you,
Right.
nobody can correct you,
Right.
and then that's not good for any of us.
Right.
So how are you being held accountable so that these things will come to pass for
Well,
all of us?
yeah. The first thing I will say, my wife holds me. So I said she got new shoes coming. I knew she was coming. So my wife, that's her right there, Samantha Wilson Walker. Yes, she holds me accountable for the things that I say. She, as the head of the home, and things, she holds me to my word. Then you just say, then you say, then you just say. So whatever goals we agree on, that I said this is what we're going to achieve and accomplish, she holds me to that. She's one of the barriers. Outside of that, Pastor holds me accountable. The brothers that join up with Brothers of Legacy, they hold me accountable. Like I'm all about never disappearing. And
Mm,
and I push that mantra, because at first I thought it was just me, but brothers disappear on you. They
mhm,
disappear, and it's yeah. I can do a show on that one. So I've always I know I've disappeared on people, so I never want to disappear. So like, even like with the show, we come on at 9 a.m. I've had folk check for me. I've Pastor's Mama McCory, she has my
mhm.
number. She's called, and so I have a community of people that hold me accountable. So I definitely I tell you my wife first, but as a man, you gotta have other men that even that she can call, like, he not listen to me right now. I need you to step
Mm,
in and say something, because she can get exasperated. It can get frustrating for her if I'm not, doing what I said I'm gonna do, and she needs someone to kind of call and hold my feet to the fire when I'm not doing. And it's rough as a man because I can tell you this, starting out like years ago, I wouldn't, there was no man that could check me. Like I wasn't allowing them to check me. But now I know for my growth to become better, you got to be held accountable. You got to be held accountable. And it's rough because you don't want to hear the truth sometimes. But that's my circle that, like I said, same thing. This is what I want to leave for my kids, a circle to help guide them and hold them accountable. Because when there's nobody to hold you accountable, that's where men especially spiral out of control,
mm,
doing all kinds of stuff and never focused on their purpose because there's no one saying, hey, there's something great in you. Hey, this is not just about you going to work every day. This is, remember, your dad talked to you about this stuff. Yeah, I know, do a lot of I know, but
yeah.
someone's holding your feet to the fire, you're gonna stay on course. So that's the community I want for my kids. I need someone checking my daughter, like, yo, what are you doing? Like, who's this dude? And my son, who's this girl? Like, yo, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I need them, like, would your dad and mom approve of this? Like
Mhm.
to just, so like you said, the old village that used to check you, try to, like, I never really skipped school because I lived close to the to the school. So I knew I was gonna get caught. They didn't see me, but the neighbors would, Mr.
Yeah,
Burnham, like, yo, what you doing? Where
yeah,
you going? So it's and I want that for my children. So this is, if anything, in any selfish nature, this is to build a village so my kids can be protected. So I
yeah,
want everyone to partake in this.
yeah. And I don't think is that selfish because hey, you have to look out for your own too, and then
Right.
in turn you also building something for someone else's children. And
Exactly.
when you talk about accountability, I think a sign of leadership is accountability,
Right.
being able to be held accountable and allow other people to come and say, hey, this is not right. We
Right.
got to change this.
Right.
Because when we look at people that were leaders and no one could hold them accountable,
Right.
Jim Jones, don't
Right.
want to mention the names, but he slipped out.
Right.
How many people
Right.
died behind that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Power in the wrong hands is dangerous.
Yeah.
It kills people.
Right.
So I think that's really good. That you're being held accountable for what you do, what you
Yeah.
don't do, and how you show up, how you don't show up. So I think that's a great thing. So before we sign off, I do want you to tell everybody again how they can partner with you to be a part of what it is that you're building, and
Definitely.
also how they can get in contact and stay connected with you.
Yes. So first off, if you're trying to find a Brother Legacy, we're Brother Legacy on YouTube, Facebook, and and Instagram. Instagram not as heavy. I don't
Mhm.
be on there a whole lot, but so Instagram is the Brothers of Legacy. Everywhere else is Brothers of Legacy. And you can just simply go to brotherlegacy.com and you can see all of the spaces that we're in. We also, of course, have a podcast, which is the video podcast. It releases the same day as the live video. If you want to hang out with us live, you go to brotherlegacy.com. You can get the video, see us, visit us on YouTube as well. And if you go to brotherlegacy.com, you can also sign up to be a part. It's the partner just right at the top. It'll follow you down if you scroll down, but it's the blue right at the top. Click on that and you can fill out a form and we'll definitely connect you. You stay connected and we'll let you know when we're about to make a move in the live space. But I'm trying to get some folks just to sign up right now, as well as you can pick up the apparel. Go to brotherlegacy.com, hit the BOL apparel, and get a nice little t-shirt from us. But as far as the show or broadcast, we come on at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday, on, like I said, Facebook and YouTube and Twitch. And like I said, you can find us at Brothers of Legacy. So it's very simple. You can even Google us. We come up. Brothers of Legacy.
Then you have the Purpose for Forever every
Oh yeah, and then so
Monday.
if we talk about the others, we got Purpose for Forever, which comes on every Monday at 8 p.m. So watch out for that. And if you go to text LW into 84576, you'll never miss any of these episodes, as well as Sisters of Legacy comes on every Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. So yeah, if you text LW into 84576, yeah, I know it's like a lot. So just go there,
Just text there,
and you'll get to. We shoot out a text every morning for Brother Legacy, every Tuesday for Sister Legacy, and every Monday for Purpose for Forever. So yeah, just go to text LW into 84576.
Yeah, and I get my text, but I'm probably already on there before the text comes. But it's so disappointing when the text comes and it's like due to unforeseen.
Yo, yeah, I know. Yeah, this
like,
week was rough.
What am I going to do? So I want to thank you, AD, for joining us and talk about also the other men on your platform, your cousins, your brothers,
Yes.
Let us know about those also.
Oh yeah, definitely. I have some partners that are kind of more consistent. I got Pastor Brian McCory, who's on with me every day from Solomon's Temple. I got Elder Ephraim Terrell. He comes on sporadically because of his work schedule. He's Mr. Reparations. You need to check it out to really understand. I have my man Kaneem Curvey. He's my real estate guy. He talks about real estate and things of that nature on the show as well. And I have my man Cole Johnson. Cole knows everything about sports. Johnson, definitely on there. And I appreciate those guys for coming on and being co-host. And Pastor Brian, he's like the main person because he's on with me like every day, Monday through Friday. So definitely appreciate him for always supporting and holding it down.
Okay, everybody. So thank you all for joining me on tonight. Those that joined me live, those that will watch the replay, and my podcast listeners. And we want to thank our special guest, AD Walker of the Brothers of Legacy, for coming on and sharing with us on tonight. So I hope that you receive something out of this. Go get your team together, get your blueprint, and do what you need to do to build your own. Definitely. So AD, I do want to thank you again for joining me on tonight. And
I just want to thank you for having this platform, inviting me on. Thank you for always supporting this. Like when she said she's been supporting since day one, she's been supporting since day one. So long. We had gotten her name wrong so long. And I was like, I can't believe we've been calling you the wrong name, but it's Lisa. If you're looking at it, you're like, Lisa, you got it wrong. It's Lisa. So listen, you guys, I know it's coming to the end of the program, so make sure you are sharing this program. This is her first of many, so definitely share. It's a great platform. I love the question. I love the question about shaping my team. I'm sure that's going to be like a essential question to a lot of people. So make sure you are sharing this. Tag somebody that is looking for change in their life. All right. So, and again, thank you, Lisa, for this opportunity.
You are welcome. And again, thanks everybody for joining. I am Lisa L. Yeomans, and this is Change the Channel. I will see you all next Thursday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until the next time, everyone, goodbye and God bless.